Battlefield 6 versus Black Ops 7, which one will triumph over the other? So with Battlefield 6 coming out tomorrow and even many people playing the game early somehow, I thought I'd talk about my experiences with both Black Ops 7 and Battlefield 6, having played both the betas. Battlefield 6's beta was around early August, but Black Ops 7 just ended earlier today, so still fresh on my mind. Now I think it's safe to say for Battlefield 6, it almost caught us all off guard, right? Like, we knew that they were capable of making a very good Battlefield game. They've done this in the past, right? But their past couple games, 2042 and even Battlefield 5, weren't received too well, specifically Battlefield 2042. With 2042 launching as it did, people were swearing that they wouldn't pre-order another Battlefield game unless, they earned their trust again. After seeing trailers, gameplay, and then finally the beta, that quickly changed for like pretty much everybody. The beta felt great. The beta did feel like, I would say, Battlefields 3 and 4, which is, almost like prime Battlefield, I would say. In terms of the gunplay, the atmosphere, all of that, even the maps. We went back to their original class systems, with the medics, engineers, assault, and support. And you have specific weapons, tied to those specific classes. For some reason, they did away with that in 2042. I don't remember if they did that with 5 or not, but 2042, that was a big change that people didn't really like. But yeah, they brought it back. It seems like they're going back to their roots, which is kind of like a, I don't know, cliche thing to say nowadays. But it was definitely some of the most fun I've had in a multiplayer game in a while. And lately, over the past few years, I really haven't been playing many multiplayer games. I play Call of Duty every year, but now I play it less and less. I'll play for like 3 or 4 months, then kind of just delete it because, I just don't feel like playing it. And the only other multiplayer game that I could think of that I've played recently is Rocket League, and even that, I don't think I've played in like 8-9 months. Both games I've just been playing casually over the past few years. Nowadays, I stick to more of the single player games because that's what I enjoy. For Battlefield, I enjoyed it a lot. Like, I played the mess out of that game. I must have put like 20 hours into the beta. To some people that might sound like light work, but come on, like 20 hours in the beta is still a lot, I'd say. And not once did I even feel bored playing it, and that's a good thing. Hopefully that carries over into the main game. The main game is gonna have, of course, the core multiplayer, gonna have a campaign, also gonna have a battle royale. And we did see some gameplay of the battle royale, though I think it was leaked. It did look pretty good though. Personally, I'm someone who hasn't been playing battle royales for a while now. Like, I played Warzone, the original Warzone when it came out, and also a little bit after Warzone 2 came out. Of course, I played Fortnite, Prime Fortnite, I played Apex Legends, but again, I haven't seriously played a battle royale in years. I'm always wary of battle royales just because, like, they're kind of like a hit or miss. If you don't do it well, then it kind of failed. And you almost look at it as like a waste of resources because you put it out, people barely played it, people might have played it for like 3 or 4 months and then it just died out. Either that or it's a big success like Fortnite, Warzone, Apex Legends, or any of the other big Battle Royale games. But this one did look pretty good. It actually looked to me like Warzone, and Warzone is pretty good no matter what you say. I think it did succeed, especially the original Warzone. It was pretty good, pretty fun. So if it can capture that sort of essence and everything, then I think it'll be a pretty good one. They tried it with Battlefield 5 with Firestorm. I think technically this is Firestorm again, but I don't know if they're calling it that. There is a little cool twist to it where the zone, like the fog or the smoke, whatever you call it in the game, around the circle, the zone that you have to stay in, that kills you automatically if you get touched by it. So that'll definitely add a bigger challenge to the game, a different element that I think other battle royales don't really have. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see for that one. I don't think it's going to come out on launch. I believe they said actually, I don't even know if they gave an official release date or anything, but I think it's gonna come out like around a month after Battlefield. Well, the whole game comes out, so like tomorrow, probably like a month or so after. And then moving on to the campaign, we also saw some campaign gameplay. I thought it was leaked, but it wasn't. I think they officially put it out, or some people were able to play it and they were able to put it out, which for some reason I never saw. I didn't see it until a few days later. But the reception around the campaign, honestly, I think wasn't that good. And even for me, when I saw it, it didn't really look as I expected. And that's probably my fault, just because I think I assumed it to be something similar to what Call of Duty's been doing over the past few years with the Modern Warfare series. I guess because they're both like modern combat, modern warfare, type of games, then they'd be the same, but it doesn't really look the same to me. Some people did say that Battlefield 6's campaign does look like a cheap version of like, Modern Warfare 2019's campaign. I think they say that for like 2 reasons. One, because there was a mission similar to the Clean House mission in Modern Warfare 2019. That game isn't the only game to have missions like that, but that was one of the biggest missions, especially being in a Call of Duty game. And it was probably one of the best missions in Call of Duty. Even if it's a new game, I think it was probably one of the best missions ever. So that, and also the fact that it's weird to say, but because it's campaign, I think a lot of us expected it to look and feel a certain way, not like the multiplayer component. When I saw it, I was kind of not turned off, but I was like, oh, I thought it'd be a little different, but the UI and, all of that. When I'm playing a campaign component to a game, I don't really want it to feel like a multiplayer game, and that's kind of what it looks like. Like when you're, in campaign, when you kill an enemy, they drop a weapon, there's a whole box, of their weapon that drops, and, you can see their weapon, you can see, I guess, like the attachments and things like that. Essentially, what it looks like is, Warzone or a battle royale or just a multiplayer component where, you kill an enemy and they drop their weapon and you see it on the ground. This probably sounds silly to some people, but to me, this is always something that I don't want to say it's a big deal, but it's something that I prefer not to see in a, like campaign single player component of a game. Also, there was one mission, just a part of a mission that I saw briefly looked at, where it almost also looks like what Call of Duty did with Modern Warfare 3 2023, where it's almost just Warzone in the campaign. Essentially, they put you in a big area. They tell you you have 3 objectives, you need to go complete them all, and then, that's it. And I always say this when I'm looking for, I say this specifically for Call of Duty campaigns, but I guess this kind of carries over to Battlefield also because they're a little similar in that aspect. I prefer the linear approach when it comes to these games, just because I feel like they've always been good at that, and I don't think they should ever go away from that. I think it's a lot more fun. I think it's just overall more cinematic and just a better approach in general. It also doesn't feel cheap. It feels like developers actually put thought and, time into these games, into these single player components, whereas when you have a big area and you drop them into it, you tell them to go complete these 3 objectives, it doesn't really feel like they put that much thought into it, if that makes sense. It just feels like Warzone or another multiplayer component. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully that was just a little part of the campaign, and hopefully again it feels like something like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, or even Battlefield 1 and 5. Funny enough, Battlefields 1 and 5 did something similar, but they did it well. They did it in a way where it didn't feel like you were playing Warzone. If it's done that way, then yeah, I'll take it, I'll like it, I'll probably enjoy it. But enough of Battlefield 6 now, let's move on to Black Ops 7. So the beta just ended today, and I did have a lot of fun with this beta, but I did enjoy Battlefield 6's beta, I'd say, a lot more. And that's probably due to a few things, right? One being, the first thing that comes to mind being the sweatiness of Call of Duty lobbies. I swear I had like a good 3 games in the very beginning of the beta. After that, I was just getting absolutely trashed on. I mean, I had some good games, I had some fun times in it, but the game just, like, I don't know, man. Also, like, look at that kill streak. That kill streak where, you get a sniper and you can shoot people through walls, bro. That was so stupid. Whoever put that in the game honestly needs to be interrogated. We need to, check on them and see if they still deserve a job there, because that was just ridiculous, bro. The first time I saw it, man, I think I saw it in the COD Next thing, I was so not even confused but just baffled. And then the first time I got killed by it in the beta, bro, I was just like, this is actually in the game, this is actually a thing. Like I said, I did enjoy the game. I just think Battlefield 6 was a little more fresh compared to Call of Duty, if that makes sense. Even though the last Call of Duty was, a little bit different, Black Ops 6 was not taking place in, I think, 2035. I think it's just me, including a lot of other people, wanted a Battlefield game or just another game that could rival Call of Duty but didn't feel like Call of Duty. The sweatiness of Call of Duty didn't carry over to that game, and that game was Battlefield 6. Black Ops 7 did feel good to play. The Omni movement was still there. They toned it down a little bit. They have that cool little wall jump, which makes it feel like Black Ops 3 in a way. Like, I honestly thought I was playing Black Ops 3 for some times. Like, I'd accidentally jump off the map thinking I had a jetpack on my back. My first impression when I started playing the beta was that it felt kind of like Black Ops 4, I'd say, and a mixture of Black Ops 6, just because, the Omni movement. But the gunplay to me felt like Black Ops 4 when I look at, like, the recoil, for example. A lot of these guns, I think that, I used in the game just didn't seem to have recoil. When I see people using the guns, they had absolutely no recoil. Black Ops 4, from what I remember, had that type of gunplay, that feel to it. And then, of course, you have the more modern movement of Call of Duty, the Omni movement, the tac sprinting, which is locked behind a perk now, but that really fast movement. So it's there, and it feels like Call of Duty, and it's Call of Duty, and I think that's why it's just not that exciting to me and a lot of people. So naturally, Battlefield 6 is what I think I had the most fun with. I completely forgot the beta had zombies. They added it in, I think, the second or third day of the beta. I didn't touch it, and honestly, I barely play Black Ops Zombies ever. Like every time I get the game, a Black Ops game, I try it out. I play it like 1 or 2 times, and I never play it again. I always say, funny enough, that I'm gonna play the next one when it comes out, and I never do it. But zombies, that's another thing. I don't play that much, but from what I see, it just doesn't look like zombies to me. What zombies look like in, honestly, I'll go back and say Black Ops 3. That looked like zombies, man. Like, I just don't understand where they went wrong with it. All these health bars and numbers and all these other things, cars and zombies, like what? And just the style of it overall, it does not look like what zombies used to look like. Like I said before, though, I'm someone who doesn't really play zombies, so maybe I'm just an outlier. And I mean, maybe people did enjoy the zombies. People do still enjoy zombies. I know there is a community for zombies, and there always has been a community for zombies, but I just wonder if they still really enjoy it, as much as they did with the older games. And then moving on to the campaign for Black Ops 7, we know it's going to be a co-op campaign, 4-player co-op, and seemingly is going to be very similar to what they did with Modern Warfare 3 2023, where I'm not going to say it's Warzone. We don't know for sure because we haven't played it yet, but they're going to drop you into big locations where you can kind of have free reign to do wherever you want, take on the mission at hand however you want. The safe house type of thing is going to return in the game, though this time it's going to be like a safe city, I guess, right? Like, in Black Ops 6, you have the safe house with Marshall and Savon, I think her name is Sev, I forgot what her full name is, Woods, and, everybody else. Cold War did the same thing, Black Ops 3 did the same thing. This time they're taking it a step further, and it's going to be more of a big city, and I think the city's going to be kind of run and controlled by the Guild, which is one of the factions in the game. And in the campaign, you're going to be at odds with them, being Mason and his team. They're going to be kind of trying to figure out this whole thing with Menendez, and the Guild is also trying to do the same thing, but they're at odds just because they don't, agree on how to handle the situation. But yeah, I just expressed how I feel about these type of campaigns. Hopefully it feels more so like Black Ops 6's campaign, where they had some open worldness to it, some free reign to do things however you wanted to, but not too much. I'd prefer it to be like Modern Warfare 2 2022's campaign, where you can tell that they experimented with this whole open world thing, being able to do things and handle things however you want, even having like a backpack with things that you can choose to use. They didn't do it that much. Like I said, it seemed like they just experimented with it and they wanted to use it more in the future, which they have been doing. I prefer it to be like that, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be that way. But I'm going to play the game, I'm going to play the campaign, and I'm going to judge it off of that. Hopefully, like I said, it's more like Black Ops 6's. I don't think it's going to be like Modern Warfare 2's, but we'll see. As for which game I think is going to be better or triumph over the other, it's tough because Call of Duty has been around forever. Battlefield has also been around forever, but Call of Duty has been on top forever by themselves forever. Even when Battlefield was in its prime, Call of Duty, they were in their prime as well. So it was just like, Call of Duty's prime was up here, Battlefield's prime was a little bit below. They were both good games. They had different communities. Everybody played them, right? But Call of Duty, for some reason, we don't know why, but has always just been on top. And then Battlefield kind of, I don't want to say fell off, but, past couple of their games weren't as good as their previous games. And when that happened, Call of Duty didn't necessarily take advantage, but they just kept doing their thing. They dropped their games every year like they've always been doing. And people have been buying their games every year like people have always been doing. So naturally, they've just been by themselves at the top, and nobody's been able to touch them since. And here comes Battlefield 6 now, looking like they're going to dethrone Call of Duty, but are they really going to dethrone Call of Duty? Even when we look at something like Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 is 2016. Infinite Warfare, arguably one of the worst Call of Duties if you ask most people. I don't think it was terrible, but it was up there for being one of the most disliked Call of Duties ever. Even that game, I believe Infinite Warfare did better than Battlefield 1, though I think looking like going in the future, right? So like a year after the games came out, I think Battlefield 1 might have sold better than Infinite Warfare, but when both games first came out, it was still Call of Duty on top. So I think it's going to be a situation like that where most people prefer Battlefield this time around, but Call of Duty, because they're Call of Duty, are going to have more players. I don't know if they're going to get more sales just because the game now it's on like Game Pass, and most people, if they have Game Pass, which they do, they'll try the game out at least, kind of beefing up their numbers. Battlefield isn't going to be on Game Pass day one, but probably going to be on Game Pass sometime in the future. But you have to actually buy the game. You have to spend $70 or more on the game to play it. So, that's kind of like a thing where people might not buy it just because of that, making it seem like their numbers are deflated, if that makes sense. One thing we can look at, one sort of statistic, was that Battlefield 6's peak player count, I think it was on Steam, was around 350,000 people, right? And for Black Ops 7's beta, I think the peak was around 75, 80,000. So that just goes to show you which one people, I guess, prefer this time around. Will that carry over to the base game? Who knows? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I hope for the best for both games. I hope this means more competition, better work from both sides. Battlefield pushes Call of Duty to be better, vice versa. Competition is always better for us as the consumers. We get better quality things, we get more of things. But yeah, as always, in the comments, let me know what you guys think. Are you buying Call of Duty this year? Are you buying Battlefield 6? Are you buying both? Which one have you been enjoying more in terms of the betas? And if you enjoyed the video, like it up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh dang, rip.